Hi you guys, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft. Sorry you guys, there's some construction going on the lake in my neighborhood, and there's a truck that keeps backing up, and then it's doing the backup beep, and then my dog barks because of the backup beep. All right, so I'm doing another page for my daughter's senior album. This is not a page kit that I had created. I do have one more page kit, but I haven't printed those photos yet. So I just put this page kit together from the big stack, the larger collection of papers that I thought might work for what we're looking at. And her best friend, Joseph, is running for homecoming king. So that's very exciting. He's a great guy. He's in band and orchestra and super smart. He plays, I don't know, 100 different instruments. And he's just super nice. His mom loves making t-shirts, so she made t-shirts for the kids to wear for his campaign, I guess. Homecoming is in just a couple of weeks, so they're working it now. So I have 3 pictures. This one I did with extra. I used the Selfie app, so I did a border in the Selfie app, and then I did a border in the printer app, as in the Canon printer app as well. So that it would be a little larger than these. So you can see it's a little larger than those. Better ratio, but not a full 4x6, because I was a little worried about fitting, I don't need to do that, a 4x6 and these other photos on here. So, so those are my photos. I will trim this up. I think I'm going to keep these 2 together like this. And here are the papers and ephemera that I pulled. So I have some grays, because their t-shirts are gray. So I may very well layer with some grays. Their school colors are green and black. So I have this fun paper, which I like a lot. And I have this very old, I was trying to think if I should save this for a football thing, because it looks a little mottled and is a little like football, whatever. But I do have another sheet of this. And so I won't have trouble doing at least one picture from the actual homecoming football game. And this is old Creative Memories, so it's not 12 by 12. So it works perfectly to trim just one side and get a border. So that's my plan. So I had to go ahead and speed this up and do a voiceover a little earlier than I normally do, because the dogs were going insane. So my plan is to do some strips behind the photos. So I've seen this done before, just sort of winging it and putting strips behind it. So I have these 2 strips and maybe a few other things that I can make use of. I have pulled some ephemera, stickers, and other items. A lot of it's Vicki Boutin and Chamel. They seem to be my go-to ephemera things now. I went through my binders, my ephemera binders, to pull some of these. I love that Star Power one, because Joseph definitely has star power. I have 2 different alpha sets, and I'm going to use both of them. So here I've just roughly laid in, I haven't trimmed them or cut them or determined lengths of anything yet really, laid in a bunch of strips. Some of them are half-inch strips that I cut off other pieces of paper and things like that, and other just scraps that I found in my scrap folders. Here I'm using my Creative Memories border system to do the notebook edge, and I think that's going to make a nice starting edge. I do tear off a couple of the tabs to make it look a little more authentic, because it's a pretty clean cut notebook edge, and I think that's a good starting place. So then I just start laying things on top of it. I want to make sure they're starting and ending in different places, so no two, even if they may be the same length, they're not going to look the same length. And I do want things to go straight up and down. Here I use the border system again to make kind of a chevron pattern. I end up not using this. I think I want to use it, but it's just too jarring on there. Everything else is a little more, not muted necessarily, but it's just not plain cardstock, and so that one ends up being a little too jarring. So I've pulled it aside, and maybe it will find its way onto another layout, since I have I'm going to be using a lot of green, since those are my daughter's school colors, as I do this album. So some of these I just, if they are too short, I'm just cutting them in half and hiding the gap behind the photos, which works brilliantly. Nobody will ever know except all of you. So now I'm just layering things in. And working my way across the page. So some of them I did fishtail banners on that one. I have the others I think I leave mostly straight. Maybe I do one more fishtail banner as we work our way through. And I just keep bringing in and double checking where I'm going. So I moved everything over a little bit, just so things wouldn't go too far past the center. This one I wanted a little bit shorter. This also looks great if you use different colors of paper. So if you have pictures that have a lot of different colors in them, or you have a lot of scraps or border strips, this is a great way to use those things up and to create kind of a colorful layout. It can get really busy, as you'll see at the end. This is ends up being a pretty busy page. This one I think is going to be a little too short. So you see everyone is a different width. Some are layered above, below. And then I have my last two. So I'm just gauging how many more I need. And I'm just sticking to basically the school colors for this one. I didn't tear any ends, though you could do that, and that might look good too. And then I really liked this paper with the stars on it. It's the other side of the green grid, the Vicki Boutin green grid. And I liked that just to bring in an additional color, and I do have some gold on the page, so I felt like that was an okay addition. And here I'm trying to make this one work, and I don't love it on there. As I said, it didn't fit the way I wanted, so I thought, well, let's make it a little thinner and see if that helps. And here, if you're using a trimmer and you're trying to cut something thin, sticking a Post-it on there will help you hold it in place. So that's my trick. And I'm like, okay, what if I make it shorter? Do I like it? I still don't love it. So comment below if you would have kept that on there, if you liked it. I do have a couple of stickers that I want to add, and I like those better than this border. So this sticker is a zigzag sticker from a Bella Boulevard masculine kit. I think it's a Hey Dad or Hey Dude thing. And then this was from one of the school, back to school kits. And it's matches the background in Joseph's graphic that he made. And so that's why I want it on the other side. I didn't want it right behind that big photo. But I thought it was a great match. So now I'm going to start working on ephemera and the title. So at this point, I'm thinking that the Dare to Be Great will be down in the corner. I end up adjusting that a little bit. So now I'm just auditioning all the different ephemera that I had pulled out for different things, and I've got a preliminary plan for it. I did this off camera because I was going to be messing with the letters, and thought that might take a while. So here I've moved the Dare to Be Great over so that the title has a place to sit. So it's Vote for King Joseph is what I've made the title, and using the two different letters. You can't tell as well in the video, but the King Joseph, you can read it, and I did ink those letters so that they would stand out a little bit more. And then I'm really trying to create just a cluster at the top. And then I have the camera over at the top left, and then I'm working on top right, and I've also tucked in a little journaling spot if Reese wants to put at least the date or some journaling on here. She can do that. And then I realized, well, let's try and combine these together a little bit more instead of spreading all of that ephemera out. So as I've said before, my habit is to spread out the ephemera, and I'm really trying to collapse things in more to make things flow a little better. And this one I'm going to pop up because it was over several layers, and so popping it up helps. I also did, I think, remember to ink all the different bits and pieces. This zigzag wasn't super sticky, so I used some wet glue on it. I love this Vicki Boutin ephemera with the little balls and the arch, and I really thought that helped draw attention to the title. And I am going to use some black and white baker's twine for the for that tag. All right, so somehow this was just in a big ball in my little container that I keep my twine in. And I did it double and just did a simple knot and then just added a little bit of wet glue to sort of hold the tags in place where I wanted them. And then I had pulled also some little gold stars and this gold and black arrow. So I'm just adding those items sort of as finishing touches. So there's just some gold stars and gold dots that I'm adding, and then I have some Nuvo drops and I'm going to add those. And this is a gold colored Nuvo drop. I think it's, for some reason I think it's called mustard gold. But I just add those, and then I had pulled aside some green sequins and I decided, oh, let me see if I need those. And they just didn't fit because I really didn't have, other than the gold, I didn't have a lot of shiny stuff on there. So now let's take a look at, do some close-ups so you can see all the texture that you get from those layers and all those little ephemera clusters. And so I'm really treating the strips as sort of a bunch of ephemera and then the two clusters. So please give this video a thumbs up and come back for more cards and layouts.